Been 23 days since my last fall sports recording, and we are 23 days past the end of the fall sports at B-B, and we are a week past the fall musical. Fall musical held last weekend, and we can be very proud of the 16 students, the cast and crew of the fall musical Lucky Stiff. They had official account of just under 500 guests come and take it in across the three shows. So once again, we'll call on the public next year to turn out and support our fine arts and our fall musical and our theater students. I hope, I always push hard for that, and I always feel we need to do a better job than we do. Another area where I see some, I guess, warning signs, or even call them red flag signs. We have a lot of problems with turnout in different parts of our athletic program as you go up and down the ranks, going from as high as varsity level, and now we go all the way down in the 4th grade level, the 4th grade winter sports. Unofficially, I've heard from many parents that there's only 9 boys who partake in hockey, wrestling, and basketball. So that's a big problem. 4th grade would be the class of 2033. Out of a possible at least 26 boys, I counted 27 boys in the 3rd grade yearbook last year, but the strong majority are not participating in winter activities. And one parent said that basically the wrestlers plus the one boy who's a boys hockey player, they make up a nice group of nucleus for baseball, but unfortunately we're not seeing what we need for winter, well, for specifically basketball. Only 2 play basketball out of a group of 26 boys. So that's a problem. So somehow we have to do a better job of encouraging participation up and down the ranks. There's approximately only 14 girls basketball players in grades 9 through 12, which is also a very big problem. And the basketball program will unofficially be saved, as far as from my perspective, by the inclusion of the current 8th grade, which numbers 12 players, which is a really terrific nucleus of players that we are pulling out all the stops to encourage and support them and make sure they see that they can stay involved and stay participating. It's a great group of players that the public will be getting to know across the next 4 years. They actually have 3 non-players who want to be around them as student managers. So, and the 12th is actually on injured reserve, but coming back soon, hopefully. But the point is, there's 15 girls that are a part of this winter girls basketball season, and will be asked to move up into the C squad once the junior high schedule is complete later in December. 12 players, that's really remarkable, and that is what we want to see. So there's many bright spots. We had 15 senior football players this year. There's 7 senior wrestlers on the wrestling team, and I could go up and down the ranks where we have they're not just bright spots. I mean, these are shining stars. These kids are turning out in large numbers to support the athletic, to make up the athletic program. I mean, that's the whole point. We don't have athletic programs just so that we can get a big crowd of people in the stands giving their $7 a head per game, or we can sell some concessions as fundraising for our student groups. All those things are secondary, and they're just bonus to the point of having activities that kids can participate in and improve their skills. I see it over and over again, usually in your younger grades, where a kid is struggling through either foul trouble or following on plays, or they're struggling and they're learning, and that's part of the process, and that's okay. I mean, I just saw one coach had to say this was from a visiting team, but had to specifically say to the player, look, you're doing great, you're doing the right things, don't get frustrated. The player was getting frustrated because of the mistakes that they were making. But that's the whole point, is having activities for kids to work things through. I mean, yes, you can be in non-sports activities, which obviously I encourage very much. But I think far too many parents feel that their kids don't need to be in organized activities with their own peers, and that's okay. And guess what? It's not okay. We're in a common society of people where we all have to try and get along. And your kids got to learn how to control their temper. They got to learn how to interact. They got to learn how to follow directions. They got to learn how to be obedient. Maybe sometimes they got to learn how to question authority. And you learn all that through organized activities and being around each other and working through disagreements. And your kids don't learn that if they're not involved in activities. And I think people that watch this are more or less agreeing with me, so I'm not going to get anywhere with this message, unfortunately. And that's very frustrating. Far too many parents out there are not cutting it. You're not delivering as a parent on what your kids need. You're being selfish. I'm just going to say it. You're being selfish, feeling that you can cop out and not get your kids involved in activities. And it's got to end at B-B-E, at this school. I know it's an epidemic at other schools, and that's not my concern. My concern is the activities of our school. So we've got a lot of parents that need to wake up and get your kids involved. And if you have problems, you got to work through that. If you have a disagreement with this or that, with a staff member or other parents, or your kids don't get along with other kids, that's all part of the process. And that's the point. Getting them involved so you can face these difficulties if they're there. Now, as a system, the district and the staff and the coaches need to make it a good environment. The parents, the parent volunteers, you need to make it a good environment for kids to be involved. I'll go back to the winter, let me think now. It would have been the winter of 2009, 2010, if I can recall. Or maybe it was 08, 09. It was one of those winters when my oldest stepson was involved in wrestling at Minnewaska. And I was in the wrestling room, I was present, and I can speak firsthand to this. It was a very negative experience. And it was a negative experience because of how he was treated by his peers. And of course, that was the end of this try in wrestling. That was the end of it. And actually, he went on to be a basketball player and played through 12th grade. In fact, as a senior, he was on the section finalist squad in 2018, 2019. So I understand the complaint that parents have that maybe their kids struggle because they don't feel welcome. So that's another issue. But if you're just copping out and not getting your kids involved, that's on you. If you're not pushing your kid, if your kid is 9, 10, 11, 12 years old and they're just saying, no, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, and you're just giving in and you're not applying some kind of pressure or incentive or encouragement, don't just take the answer, I'm quitting. I'm quitting. I don't want to do this. It's too much work. I don't want to do this. You're not cutting it. You're not doing your job as a parent. You need to push. Push a little harder and get your kids involved, because that's the only way we function as a school, by having these other activities. If we can't offer these activities, why would families want to be here? Why would they want to be in the district if we can't support the teams we have and the programming we have? And it has to be a diverse and complete set of activities across fine arts and sports. And obviously academics. And that's another issue that we are doing well at, but I don't want to gloss over the point here. Get your kids involved. So moving forward, we're going into the winter season, and we just see up and down the grades throughout high school. There's multiple grades that aren't providing very many athletes to their programs. And why? Too many parents just, and I've seen it in band. I've seen it in band over the last few years, where the kid just, oh, I don't want to do it. Well, push as a parent. Push back. Keep your kids involved. That's how we support a school and school programming. And they're not paying, it's basically $3,000 to $5,000 a coach per sport per season, depending on their rank. That's public knowledge, public information. No surprise. And when you do the math, these coaches are working for anywhere from $5 to $10 an hour. They're not doing it just so that we cannot have the kids to support the program. That's not why we're doing this. So, we all have to work harder at encouraging participation. I don't care what happens at other schools. Yes, other schools struggle at it too. But we got to worry about our own bobber and keeping our own kids involved. And I hope we can continue to improve on this and keep our programming. We only have a certain set number of sports. There's no reason we can't have great participation where your 8th grade class can have 12 kids in this winter activity, for example. In winter sports for girls, it's either dance or basketball. And for boys, it's wrestling and basketball in the winter. We need to be able to support these programs. Tuesday night is the girls' basketball opener. Melrose is in town. And then one night later, the wrestlers go up to Melrose for the early bird invite on Wednesday. 2 activities, 2 varsity season openers before Thanksgiving. It's causing a lot of havoc in my sports department, trying to get things organized and relaunch and rev up this jet turbine engine that I call my Bonanza Valley Voice Sports Department. So starting Tuesday, we turn on this jet engine, and that rotor is going to take time. You know, a jet engine doesn't go up to warp to top speed right away. Those rotors take time to become to get up to speed. And once I get that thing up to speed, it's going to run wide open basically all through the winter into middle of March, depending how deep we go there. So here we go. Winter sports are coming. We're going to call it a day on fall sports, and after I close on this video, we will tear down the Bonanza Valley Voice fall sports recording studio. The family camper will be packed up for winter. Signing out, and here comes winter. Inch of snow predicted tonight.